I actually did a similar video to what I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to go on. I'm just going to let it go the way it wants to come up in my mind. The blood and the soul. The blood and the soul idea. And like this YouTuber that you just saw, the people that leave, or people, I don't know if they're just computer generated channels, they keep coming, they keep over and over, they create new names for themselves. No name cowards, if they're real people. Well, there's somebody real on the other end that generate these vicious comments. They're cowards. They're cowards. And I'm going to talk about blood in the soul, what this means. And we need to be a counterforce to this kind of emotion. Because what I consider to be blood in the soul is like water and oil. They don't mix. So as we venture into this experience that we call consciousness, which encompasses everything that we possibly could ever imagine. Consciousness is everything plus. We are part of this realm of consciousness. And as we extend ourselves, and this is what I really love to do, I love to ruminate on this topic of what I call eternity. And I'm going to do a symposium for life with some people on this. I want to talk about this with other people as well. And what I'm thinking is that the blood in the soul is like oil in water. It's something that doesn't work. It doesn't mix. And what doesn't mix is we're polluting the soul. And I don't understand why, but we seem to have separated ourselves from this notion of eternity in the sense that we're material beings. We are bags of blood. And the blood works perfectly in this reality. The blood, we are bags of blood essentially that goes through us, and it's perfect. It's in this reality, it works. But what I consider to be the extended part of ourselves, which seems to be separate to our comprehension. We don't have any proof of what I'm saying. Neither does anybody else. I don't care what religion you belong to. You do not have any proof of what I will call eternity. Different religions have different names for this continuation of some form of existence. I don't know if existence is even the right term, but what I want to say is this pollution of eternity is happening with, like these YouTubers, like I just showed you, and I have changed my own presentation. I have separated myself from people, from this viciousness, this aggression, because each time, and I occasionally do swear, you know, fucking this, fucking that, there is a sort of emphasis on the point, I suppose, but not as a rule. There is an emotional detriment. There is something that we're contributing to the pollution, what I call the blood in the soul. The blood in the soul, the blood should not be in the soul, and the blood is taking something from this existence and transferring it into eternity. And the way we do that is through our emotions. I believe that the blood that we are transferring into the soul or in eternity is this attitude, like this YouTuber I showed you. And I am guilty of this to some extent with some of my YouTubes, and I've changed that because I've understood something. And I've separated myself from people that actually rely on creating this phenomena, this emotional, I'm not sure how to express, it's kind of like an outrage to my process, to my becoming. What I want to be needs to be within the context of eternity, a purity of feeling and thought and emotion. And we're polluting our continuity, this existence that is continuous on some level. And as I can't prove it, it's kind of like a rumination. I'm having like a rumination here. I'm thinking about this. And what is it that I'm doing that is contributing to this? Collectively, we all contribute to our position in this continuity. And like I say, it's a kind of rambling. And the examples that I'm giving, like people becoming vicious in their attacks or in their behavior, in their acts, that actually destroy any kind of possibility of transcendence, where we transform ourselves. And whatever that might mean in this reality, this is an interesting thing as well, as we transform into what I say is using our conscience to do the right thing, what we may actually end up to be over a longer period of time as we activate this part of ourselves, which is ruled by doing the right thing, not the destructive part, the vicious part, that ugliness, that blood feeling in a place where it shouldn't be. Sounds like a goddamn sermon. And what my concern is, and this all relates to Fukushima, Fukushima is the blood and the soul. Fukushima, the pollution in this reality will extend into this continuity. It's a suspicion. This is something that I feel rather than have any concrete evidence in any way. I just feel that if we drop this ball and allow the pollution, the destruction, the toxicity, the levels of toxicity to increase through our emotions primarily, it will reflect on reality in the same way. It will reflect, if I create the toxicities through my emotion, the way I respond to someone on YouTube, for example, I will not lash out anymore on YouTube against anyone. I will say how I feel, but I will not lash out with the same viciousness that comes towards me. I will deflect that away from me. I think there is some Eastern philosophy around this too. Ahimsa is one of them. And if you practice Aikido, what I understand, there is a kind of deflection of that negative, destructive energy away from you. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. But in the context of what I'm doing as a painter, as an artist, what I realize is that in order to elevate my work to a level that will contribute to the well-being, not just in this, well, primarily in this reality, but also an extension into whatever that might be. We die, what happens? Who the hell knows? But I'm going to stipulate here and say that because I can't imagine what it means there to be nothing. If all there is that I can conceive of is something, how would I say that after we cease to breathe and be alive, and this bag of blood disappears into the earth, what to say there's nothing is insane. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. We can't conceive of that. So that's why I am on the side of saying something, what I would call eternity. And what is our part in actually establishing this transition? I actually think we're in a transitional phase. As a physical being, we're in a transitional phase. And however that will manifest, or if we carry along our awareness the way you remember having your shopping list from yesterday, or from a week ago, or what your childhood memories might have been, how we carry that forward, I don't even want to stipulate and speculate on that. But what I will say is that as we pollute this reality physically, and especially through the emotional context, which will contribute to the escalation of this pollution physically, because we are representing our emotions in the physical world. Fukushima is a representation of having dropped the ball. We have stopped doing the right thing, and we have allowed our emotions to pollute this reality physically. And every time you make vicious comments towards anyone, anyone, it actually escalates what I feel we need to help each other to create a platform, a basis, a mechanism to transform. And the reason I want to do this, and I mean, complete like Aleister Crowley indulgence is the opposite to what I'm saying. The Aleister Crowley phenomena is the opposite to what I'm saying, because the destruction, the hurt, and the suffering, I delight in the misfortunes of other. Crowley is the problem we're having in this dimension, how everything has unfolded. And the gurus, those enlightened types, keep getting caught in the headlights. I was listening to a dissertation by Alan Watts on the nature of the universe, and he does a wonderful dissection and understanding about how things move in great complexity. And we as people try to reduce it to simplicity, and we fuck it up. We screw it up all the time. But what he fails to see is that the solution, he actually said that there was a meeting in Los Angeles among really enlightened types, and they got together to discuss the problems we're having, and they didn't know what to say or what to do. Well, I have an answer to that. Alan Watts, who's no longer with us, but Alan Watts and the types like Alan Watts and the Swamis, these charlatans, these Sai Babas, and the orange robe types, I have a very simple solution. It's got nothing to do with consciousness, because consciousness is everything. It has everything to do with conscience and the ability for us to do the right thing. And once we transition into this quality of self, of being, we're going to solve this. We'd solve this, well, I don't know how fast, maybe not in a snap, because 300,000 tons of nuclear toxic waste on this planet is not going to be just like that unless we're sort of like totally enlightened all of a sudden. So my point is that blood in the soul is the pollution through our emotions, which extends into the real world. This separation, for whatever reason, we've decided to separate this reality, this physical world, from the continuity. And as we proceed towards our ability to be the true human being that we can be, this enlightened, this Adam has not happened. The biblical Adam has not happened. It is a possibility, but the Adam has not been born. We need to have this Adam born. This is the biblical story as far as I'm concerned. We need to create within ourselves this consciousness that is an Adam through conscience, doing the right thing. It's a little bit longer, this, but it's something that I love to think about and use in my motivations, in my intentions when I make a painting, that this is something that I am thinking about. I'm just letting you know, this is something that I'm thinking about that motivates me to make a painting, because I don't want to contribute to the same morass and toxicity that has been created over centuries and millennia within our souls, these emotions that pollute the soul, the blood in the soul, that eternity is going to be a very unpleasant, whatever that might be. I'm not sure if unpleasant is the right word, but within the context of being a bag of blood human being living, standing in front of you, I don't know what that might mean, but it's not good. All I know is it's not good. Anyway, I'll stop it here for now. There is more thoughts I have on this, the blood in the soul. And these vicious YouTubers, they try to trap us in their headlights of anger and hate. And I was caught up in it, and I've realized I'm separating myself from all the people that continue and propagate this this format of existence. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.